Howdy, with this video I want to show you how I grade essays. It might help you understand what I'm writing in your essay and how to interpret a graded essay when it comes back to you. Basically what I do is I open it up in Word and I go to tracking function. That's why my commentary pops up in red. And then I kind of start going through the essay. I'll generally highlight things, especially things like capitalization here. He needs to capitalize these words. Whoops. What I do. And sometimes I'll go ahead and write capitalization. Sometimes I won't. I have it set to autocorrect so I can type in little codes and it pops up with the message. But sometimes within the body of the essay, you might just see it highlighted. Generally, that means I want you to lowercase that. But I just start going through the essay, start marking any errors I see. I wish I could go through and say all the good things that are happening in an essay, but there's just not really enough time for that. If you have any questions about anything I type, be sure to let me know. But again, I'm just kind of going through the essay. Schedule meeting. So here we got a wrong word. He wants times instead of times. Wrong word generally means you're missing two and two, or do and do, D-U-E versus D-O, or then versus then, or something like that. It's not a misspelled word, it's an actual word. Times is an actual word. You have times on a fork, right? But sometimes you just use the wrong word, and that's what that means. Sometimes students are like, what do you mean wrong word? That's the word I used. It's like, well, it's not the correct word for that, what you're trying to say there. And again, I just kind of start going through the essay. I'm not supposed to use the word it, so you'll see that highlighted. And to me, that's kind of self-explanatory, especially when you see me taking points off at the end of the essay for it. Make sure you get its out of your writing. And then again, I'll just go through the whole thing. I'll get to the end. I'm going to jump on down there. And no underline. Whatever the commentary we're done with. And once we're done, I go to one page beyond the works status page, take it off the tracking function, and I have a grading sheet that I copy and paste into it. And then I write the commentary. What you're going to see is break it down into two different sections. One's going to be organization and development. The other's going to be the grammar and sentence structure in English. The reason for that is sometimes you'll get a really, really good essay that has a lot of English errors, and so you might get the meaning of life given to you in an essay with some comma splices and really other sentences. So you don't want to take, give a bad grade for it, or a totally bad grade just because of a few English errors. On the other hand, sometimes you get essays that have perfect English, but they aren't very well developed. So I separate those out so they're kind of in two separate areas there. All right, so with this one, we're going to say you have pretty good organization and development, good sense of example. Might start complaining a little bit about the English there. If there's patterns of errors, I'm going to say watch comma splices or whatever, capitalizations. And I'll just go ahead and make that commentary. Basically, it's a summary of the concerns I'm seeing within the essay. Let's say you had all the required punctuation there, but maybe it was missing the dashes. And hopefully that kind of gives you a little bit of summary about what I'm seeing in the essay and the problems I'm seeing in the essay. If I highlight things, that's me kind of asking you, make sure you understand what those are. You can go to that grammar handbook you have for the 70 course that gives good explanations of these concerns. There's also a help page on D2L in our course that goes over some of these things like comma splices, run together sentences, fragments. I don't know if that would be, with all those errors, that may not be a very good essay, but it's pretty good first essay overall, so we're going to leave that there. Quite often I'll underline that. Then we come down to the grading area, and I'm going to highlight where I'm seeing problems. If you're having problems with comma splices, run together sentences, or fragments, I'm going to highlight that. If I didn't like your title or something, that'll get highlighted. But when I highlight something, that's me saying, this is kind of where you're losing points. That's what's bringing the grade down a little bit. Then we come down here. These are kind of yes or no questions. Did you use these things properly? You weren't supposed to use it. Let's say you used it 3 times there. Maybe had a misspelled word or a wrong word or two. But we'll highlight all those. And generally I do these first because that's pretty much a math question. How many errors do you have there? You have 3 its, 1 wrong word, just the dashes. That'd be -5, so that's 10 out of 15. For the basic writing grade, this is the bulk of the essay. Well, there's 2 ways to grade an essay, or at least 2 major ways. One's to take a point off for each little silly error. I find that to be very tedious, and somebody can have a beautiful essay, but just a few comma splices, and if I took 5 points off for each comma splice, it might be a failing paper for an otherwise really well done effort. Generally with sentence structure errors, particularly a pattern of sentence structure errors, go and highlight that whole thing there. Excuse me, it's going to bring it down to the B minus C plus range. But if he has everything else going pretty well, he might keep it there in the B plus, B minus range there. That'll be about 42, well, actually it'd be a 41 out of 50, 82%. And that's kind of the basic writing grade. And again, you're kind of looking for these highlights. Have 1 or 2 wording errors in an essay is pretty normal. It's not something to worry about. When you start having patterns of errors, that's where you really want to start looking at what might be going wrong there. Or if you have problems with essay organization or paragraph development, those are things you really want to take a close look at to make sure you understand what I'm saying. Then I add up the 3 grades. You got the basic writing grade, which is always going to be the largest part of the grade. You got the editing required elements grade for 15 points, and turning in the rough draft and doing the self-reviews 10 points. We'll assume he's done that. So we add all those up. We get 61 out of 75, which is an 81%. And kind of notice I'm doing this math in my head, so make sure you check the math as well. Make sure you don't make a mistake there. But you can kind of see I'm adding up all 3 of those grades to get the one at the bottom, and down here's the final grade for the essay. And that's basically how the essay is graded. Then I save it as a PDF document and send it back to you. And once you get the graded essay back, you're going to revise it 1 more time based on my grading and my commentary, and then post that in your D2LU portfolio. If you have any questions about the grading process or anything I write about it in the essay, be sure to let me know. If you think I've made a mistake, be sure to let me know. You have every right to question the grade, and make sure you understand where your grades are coming from. If you have any questions about all this, let me know, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.